Hello, everybody. My name is Pathman Math, and we are back this week with a new lesson. Last week, we covered some basic stuff in regards to fractions, and went pretty well. I introduced myself as this is the second lesson, and I'm going to move on to something different. I will continue with fractions at a later time unless people are wanting more of fractions. But last week we covered the common denominator, all right? And that was in regards to adding and subtracting fractions. Need to find that same denominator to allow us to add and subtract two different fractions. Now, this week, because finding the common denominator requires skill with multiplication, I'm actually going to cover multiplication tables, because I know multiplication tables are learned kind of early on, but what I'm going to try and do is provide you guys some tips and tricks on being able to find your multiples here of your 1 through 10. I know there's an ace right here, but we're going to go through find multiples of ace through 10 or 1 through 10. But yes, what I'm going to try and do is provide you guys easy ways to multiply. Get some tips and tricks going in your head. That way, if you are facing real world problems or need to do some quick math for whatever it is that you're working on, you are able to boom, 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 get the problem solved. So, I know that some of the multiplication tables can get a little tricky, and trying to remember them quickly can wind up being a little hectic sometimes. And if you are on a strict deadline, because in school, a lot of teachers will try and provide you multiplication speed tests. That way you get it in your head quickly and can remember it. Well, what I'm going to do is break it down for you, teach you guys a little differently, and try to provide you some easy to remember tricks. Now, starting off, I'm going to be looking at 4 of the 10 numbers. We're going to be looking at 1, 2, 9, and 10. Okay? So, for the ones, let's write this out here. Little sentence here. Because this is an invaluable truth of math. Anything multiplied by 1 is itself. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 4 is 4. So on and so forth. 1 times 400 billion is still going to be 400 billion because you're just multiplying by 1. Same thing what we did with the common denominator. Multiplied by 1. Anything multiplied by 1 is still going to be that same value. So, big truth here. Anything multiplied by 1 is itself. Now, that's quick and easy. Boom. Whatever you got there, it's going to be the same number, whatever it is, multiplied by 1. So I'm going to move on to the next one here. For 2's, you're just doubling the value. So 1 times 2, that's going to be 2. 2 times 2, that's 4. 3 times 2 is 6, and so on. It's basically just all the even numbers up to 20. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Boom. That was the multiples there of 2. 2 times 10 is 20. Boom, right there, cut, dry, done. Easy peasy. So now, for your 9's and 10's. For this one, we're going to write just a quick little statement here. Little thing here, easy peasy to remember. My butt. 10. E, E, 0. Anything multiplied by 10, just add a 0 to the end of it. 1 times 10, 10. 2 times 10, 20. That's 20. 3 times 10, 30, 30, all the way up to you get 10 times 10, which is 100. You're just adding a 0 to the end of the number you're multiplying by. Cut and dry. That's 1, that's 2, and that's 10 right there. Boom. Easy. Now 9 is another one. You might not think it's easy, but it really is. It really is. 4 9s, all you have to do is subtract whatever number you're multiplying to 9 from what it is for 10. So let's say we've got 5 times 10 here. That's 50. 5 times 9, I'm going to subtract 5 from 50 here. 50 minus 5, that's 45. Right there. Take whatever the number multiplied by 10 is, and then subtract that number. Same thing with anything else. So 9 times 9, 9 times 10 is 90. Subtract a 9, boom, we've got 81. That's 9 times 9. Let's say 3 times 9. 3 times 10 is 30. Subtract 3, that's 27. That's 3 times 9. Another easy one. Just some quick little subtraction there. Nothing too hectic to deal with. But all you're trying to do with these multiplication tables is get some practice in with them. Find some tips and tricks that allow you to be able to remember those values and quickly figure them out. And the big thing is not to stress. Math is one of those things that the moment you start to stress about it, that's when the mistakes start to happen. Deep breath. Settle yourself, then go back to it. If you need to, think on it in a different way. Math does not have to be extremely difficult. I know that there are complicated subjects within math, but as long as you have a basic understanding of what you're looking at, you can figure out anything that is labeled as being a complex math problem. Right here, multiplication. When you're first learning it, it may seem crazy, it may seem difficult, but we just got through 4 numbers here real quick and easy because of some simple tricks. All we needed to do, invaluable truth here, literally just attach a 0 to the end of it, double the value. It's literally just adding that same number to itself just one time. Just double that value, you're good to go. And then for the 9s, simple subtraction. Simple subtraction, and you are set for the 9s. Now 3 through 8, that's where it can get a little tricky. Some of them may not have the best tips and tricks to go off of, so you may just need something that can help you remember those values. And one thing in particular that has helped me when I was going through school, and probably helped a lot of you guys, some of you may not even have heard of it. I would highly suggest looking it up, but Schoolhouse Rock. They created a bunch of old cartoons. I don't know when, but they created a bunch of old cartoons and used music in order to learn different topics. They did stuff for math, they did stuff for history, English, science. They covered a lot of stuff and used quick little songs just to learn things, remember things. And a big one was what they used for multiplication. Now, I'm not going to rip off everything for Schoolhouse Rock. You can look up the stuff on your own and look it up. But I don't remember all the little songs that they had for the multiplication table. There were two, though, that really stuck with me all these years. Two in particular. 3s and 5s. Now, 5s I'm going to give a different tip for, but 3 in particular is one that I remember every single time. Because it's just real quick. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. Real quick and easy there. So, we got 3, that's 3 times 1. Then we got 6, that's 3 times 2. We got 9, that's 3 times 3. 12, 3 times 4. 15, 3 times 5. 18, 3 times 6. 21, 3 times 7. 24, 3 times 8. 27, 3 times 9. And then 30 is 3 times 10. Real quick and easy little jingle there. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. But it stuck with me all these years. I watched Schoolhouse Rock back when I think the first time I ever saw a Schoolhouse Rock clip was probably back when I was like 10 years old. 10 years old. Maybe 9, either way. That's almost 20 years ago for me. And it still is stuck in my head. It's easy peasy, it's a little jingle, it's fun, and it helped me remember it. Now, 4s is one I don't remember the jingle for, but it's a quick one that we can work with. So, where 2, multiplying by 2, was just doubling, just double again. Because 2 times 2 is 4, so then all you gotta do is just double the double. So 4 times 1, that's just 2 times 2 times 1. That's 4. 4 times 2, that's 2 times 2 times 2. That's 2 times 2, that's 4. 2 times 2 again, or 4 times 2, we got 8. Right there, just double the double. Easy peasy for it. You work your way through, you've got 4, 8, you got 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, and then 40. 40 is 20 times 2. 36 is 18 times 2. 32, that's 6. I skipped one there. But still, you just double the double. Double the double. Actually, no, I didn't skip one. I started to skip one. Oh, well. Actually, no, 16. 16 times 2. See, losing track myself. So, I know I'm going through things kind of quick. Even for someone like me who has gone through so many different types of math, if I start to run away with my own thoughts, I start to forget some things. It happens to people. I'm not going to stress about it. Because again, if you stress about it, you make mistakes. And that's what we can't afford to do when dealing with math. There's a lot going on with all sorts of different kinds of math. Math and science are two of the biggest, most diverse, I was about to say diversiest. Diversiest is not a word. Hence why I didn't go for English. Because I don't speak it very well. But math and science have so much to offer. There's so much there that the moment you start to stress about something, that's when the mistakes start to happen. So just deep breath, slow it down. And like I said, I know I'm trying to go through things kind of quick. Just wanted to give you guys some quick tips and tricks here. But That's no excuse for me losing track of my stuff here. That's fine. It's fine. So, 4s, just double the double. Quick, easy, right there, good to go. Now 5s is another one that can maybe trip some people up, but it's another quick one similar to 10. For 5s, gonna write another little statement here. I know I don't have the best handwriting, but I assume it's well enough to where you guys can read it. If you have any comments on that, let me know. I'll try and do better. But anything multiplied by 5. Anything multiplied by a 5 either ends with a 5 or a 0. That is the symbol for 0. That way it doesn't get mixed up for an O. But anything multiplied by 5 ends in either a 5 or a 0. Now, if you're multiplying 5 by a even number, then it's going to end in a 0. If you're multiplying it by an odd number, it's going to end in 5. So 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10, got the 0 there. 5 times 3 is 15, ends in the 5. 5 times 4 is 20, ends in the 0. And you just work your way up through there as you go along. 5 times 5, 25. 5 times 6, 30. 5 times 7, 35. 5 times 8, 40. 5 times 9, 45. 5 times 10 is 50. Odds end with a 5, evens end with a 0. And then you're just working your way up. Easy for that one. Now we got 3 more values to look at. We got 6, 7, and 8. Now, 6 and 8, again, you can kind of go off of the doubling rule if you so choose. But these 3 are the ones that take just a little bit of practice for, because they're kind of not necessarily obscure, but if you just keep following the doubling rule, you'll wind up doing a lot of extra math rather than just trying to remember the initial multiplication there. Now, some of these we've already covered because we've gone through these other ones. So by the time we've gone to 6, 7, and 8, with 1 through 5 and 9 and 10, we've basically already covered almost all of the multiples with those other tips and tricks that we got. So again, 1 times 6, boom, multiply by 1, it's 6. 6 times 2, you're just doing the double. You got yourself 12. 3 times 6, we already got that, or 6 times 3, already got that one with the 3. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. 3 times 6, or 6 times 3, either or, is 18. 6 times 4, 24, cover that in the 4s, it's just another of the double there. 6 times 5, 30, we got that one in the 5s. Now comes the little bit of the gray area that we've got because we haven't covered them in other ones. 6 times 6, we're just going to add 6 to the 30 because it's just adding on another 6 to it. That's all multiplication is just many times adding something. So we did 6 times 5, that's 30. Add another 6 on there for 6 times 6, that's 36. Boom, good to go. Next one here, 6 times 7, we got 42, adding on another one there. Then we've got 48 for 6 times 8. We got 54 for 6 times 8 for 6 times 9. And then 6 times 10, we got 60. But we already covered the 54 there with the 9. We got, and there was just those few little there, this times 6, times 7, times 8. But it's just easy peasy right there. It's just some simple addition. Real quick, real easy, nothing too bad. Just takes a little bit of practice. And like I said, when you're going through school and you're first learning how to do multiplication tables, you may have already learned them by doing speed tests, and those can help. But when you're first trying to learn them And if it's been a long time since you've really looked at multiplication tables and done them doing the quick math, may not always be something that you were the best with, but these little tips and tricks here, little jingles, anything that you can remember these multiplication tables with, use it. Same goes for anything else that you learn in math. If you learn any kind of tip or trick and it actually works, use it. Whether it's one that you came up with, one that someone else came up with, whatever it is, if it works, use it. Every time. Now we got 2 more multiples here. We got 7 and we got 8. Again, we've already covered a majority of them. There's just a couple little gray areas to cover, and then we're good to go. So 7, we've covered them already through the majority of it. 7 is one of the more obscure ones because you can't go off of any doubling, and it's a much larger number of the 10 multiples that we're working with, that as you start to add more can maybe trip you up a little bit. So this is one that requires practice. This is one that I messed up on, and I had to do it multiple times on the speed test. And it took me a while to really get the knack for 7s. So take your time with it, just a little bit of practice. But for this one here, I'm gonna rip, there we go. And then I'm just gonna write these down real quick. Boom, 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 boom. It's just practice. So we got 7 times 1, 7. 7 times 2, 14, doubling. 7 times 3, 21, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, right there. 7 times 4, that's 28. That's doubling a double. So right here, that was the double. We doubled it. Boom, 14 times 2, you get 28. 7 times 5, 35. It's an odd number. It ends in 5. We're working our way through, going through this. Boom, boom, boom. Quick and easy. 7 times 6. We got 42. We covered that when we went through the 6s just now. Right there, we're going through. Now's the gray area. 7 times 7, 49. Now this is something that's called a perfect square. We will cover those later on in another episode if you guys want to, but we'll cover through that in some lesson eventually. But 7 times 7, 49, that's a little bit of gray area because it never showed up within any of the other multiples. Now we got 7 times 8, and this right here is a 56. Another gray area because we haven't done the 8s yet. So we got 2 there. Now we got 7 times 9. Think back to what I said. Take your 7 times 10, which in this case here, 7 times 10, 70. You're just adding that little 0 there on the end. Subtract a 7. 7 times 9 is 63. Boom. We got our 7s. 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 56, 63, and then finally a 70. That's our 7s right there. Boom. Good to go. 8s. The only gray area one is 8 times 8. That's a 64. Everything else we have covered up to this point here. 8 times 1. We got 8. Anything multiplied by 1 is the same number, is itself. 8 times 2. Double. 16. Already covered it. 8 times 3. We got a 24. If I can keep my paper from bending. We got 24. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. Boom! Then we got 8 times 4. Double the double. We're doubling this here. And we get a big old 32. And we got 8 times 5. It's an even number, so it's going to end in a 0. If I could draw a 4 properly. 40. And then we got 8 times 6. Already covered this. This was one of those gray area ones when we were going through the 6s. But now that we know our 6s, we know the 8 here. And we got ourselves a nice big old 48. 8 times 7, we literally just covered that right there. We got ourselves a 56. 8 times 8. Again, that's the little gray area because it doesn't show up anywhere else in our multiples here. But we got 64. And then 8 times 9. 8 times 10. Slap a 0 on the end there. And then to get to the 8 times 9, subtract 8 from the 80. And we get ourselves 72. Kabooyah. That is our multiplication tables. Not too bad there. Yeah, we had a couple that don't really have the best tips and tricks, but something to keep in mind is for the ones that don't have the best tips and tricks, we've already learned a majority of them through other ones that had good tips and tricks. So 6, 7, and 8, we had our tip and trick there for the Schoolhouse Rock jingle for the 3s. We covered that. We had for doubling and doubling the double for 2 and 4. 5s, odds and evens. Odds, they end in a 5. Evens, they end in a 0. Boom, we had that there. 6s, 7s, and 8s didn't have anything reached just yet. Then we got their 9 and our 10 there. 10, just slap a 0 on the end of there. On the end right there. And then the 9, you just subtract whatever value you are multiplying to the 9 from the multiple of 10. And then, as always, anything multiplied by 1 is itself. We got our multiples of 1 to 10 there. Now, I know some places may want you to try and learn 11s and 12s. Easy to learn those ones. Those ones I'm going to leave up to you to cover because basically, you know up to 10, you can get to 11 and 12 real easy with a little bit of extra addition. 11 times 10, that's 110. Then 11 times 11, you just add on an extra 11 there. Now you got 121. Yeah, easy peasy for it. All multiplication is just many times of addition. And if you get these tips and tricks down for this, you can rattle off these problems real fast, do all this math real quick in your head, solve these real world problems that you may have for whatever it is, whether you need to, I don't know, buying groceries or something. Say there's a sale, you can buy 4 of these items here for $20, but you don't want all 4 of them. That means 4 for 20. You did 5 there. Each one is worth $5 because it's 4 times 5 equals 20. Boom, good to go. So you only want 2 of them? Good. 2 5s there, that's 10. Easy, breezy, and just quick. I hope you guys had a good time learning with me today. I hope I didn't ramble on too much. I hope you guys were able to get some of these tips and tricks drilled into your head a little bit. And if you need to go back, go back. It's a video, it's a recording. You can do whatever you want. So I'll leave you guys off with this. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope you enjoyed your time with me. And comment down below on what you want me to cover next. I'll keep rolling through with a video each week, covering some new topic. But I want to hear from you guys, things that you are wanting to learn. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya!